So we're here at Small Cells World Summit at the JDSU stand, and joining me is Paul Gowans. Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Wondering if you could talk to me a wee bit about what you think the key issues affecting the small cells market are at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Small cells is part of you have to take it in the context of the whole environment, the kind of HetNet environment, where it's small cells, Wi-Fi or DAS or macro. And I guess there's three kind of key issues or challenges are in small cells that we see working with our customers. So the first is where do you locate small cells? It might seem a kind of obvious question, but sometimes it's not always obvious that a particular hotspot is where you need to put a particular small cell. The second thing is how do you turn up small cells, bring them into service, give them the birth certificate with least cost, because we're not dealing with macro size now, we're now dealing with something on a kind of much smaller scale, but in terms of size, but of course there's now tens of thousands of them as opposed to hundreds of them. So bringing them into service at least cost is important. And then the third thing is once of course they're up and running, it's how do you manage this whole environment. And again, if this is a HetNet environment, managing that thing end to end so that it's delivering the service quality your customers and subscribers want. So I think those are kind of three things, and I think we'll see at this event this year a lot of the discussion around those particular areas.
Absolutely. So what products are you showcasing that you've developed for the market this year? Well,
one we've got here, which is a cable antenna analyzer, and one of the key things that we see in the market is the whole kind of RF and fibre coming together. It's almost like two worlds colliding. Typically in the past you've had, there's a kind of RF domain and there's a fibre domain, and now that's coming together. So what you're seeing with many of our solutions is being able to integrate those capabilities. So rather than having to carry 2 or 3 solutions to turn up a cell site, you can now use, for example, one of the JDSU cable analyzers with integrated fibre. So you can do fibre test, you can do optical power, and you can do the RF metrics all in one. And that's a big thing for being able to kind of quickly bring these things into service, and helps the the installer get to grips with the new technologies, so that they don't have to kind of learn a lot about fibre if they're an RF engineer. They can simply use a tool like this as an integrated instrument.
And what else are you doing to help deal with the challenges that are stopping some operators from really diving into the small cell market in earnest?
Yeah, well, one of the things also is being able to get kind of visibility at the edge. This is a key thing. So once the small cell's up and running, you've got a lack of visibility if you think about these small cells really at the edge, but they're intelligent nodes. So being able to, for example, use smart SFP technology embedded in devices and elements to use that to gather information so that you can analyze data, you can look at optical measurements and be able to use that remotely, of course. So the whole having this kind of cloud enabled environment to be able to kind of remotely access. And then the other key thing is people want to save off data when they've kind of turned up sites rather than throw it away, because often what happens is you'll install a cell site and the information that you got from that, I've got some metrics, I've got some measurements, will get thrown away. But what we've done with our instruments is been able to kind of cloud enable them, so you can save that information and data off to a central point, so that if there's a problem, say further down the line, they can look back and say, okay, what were the kind of measurement KPIs that we got when we brought that site into service, and do a comparison, and that's really valuable for our customers.
And you talked about looking down the line, so what's down the line for JDSU in the months ahead?
Well, there's a lot happening. For example, this RF fibre coming together, CIPRI is coming now, which is all about how do I deliver RF over a fibre link in the front hall. Being able to analyse the RF and that CIPRI link is very important without having to kind of climb the tower. So that's a really key thing coming along. And then of course everyone's kind of talking about VoLTE now, voice over LTE. So we've heard a lot of announcements recently from, I think it was about 4 or 5 carriers over the last few weeks about VoLTE getting deployed. So being able to manage high definition voice, fast connection time, and have that integrated LTE VoLTE as well as the 3G voice service will be really important. So those things like RF and fibre coming together, small cells, DAS and VoLTE continue to be kind of key mobile investment areas for JDSU, which is really where our customers are investing.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.